All right, guys. So this week we're going to do taper face. Now, taper face is basically creating an angle on a plane. Okay. You can do it by slicing. This is just another way. It works well in mechanical drawings. And so I just want you to know it, want you to know it exists so that later on you're going to be able to walk through doing it. So it does say assignment 19. Just don't worry about that. You are working on assignment 18. And what I want you to do here is be able to, without an isometric drawing, okay, realize the relationship of these components. So the first thing you look at when you look at the footprint is how deep it is, so 28, and how long it is, 50. Okay, so if it's 50 by 28, how does that relate to anything else we see here? Okay, the side view is not giving you the length. Okay, and the front view only gives you height here. Okay, so your footprint is solely based upon your plan view. Okay, the location of this circle is based on plan view. Okay, and you have to figure out how to place this circle using the dimensions they give you. All right. Now, the other thing that we're going to be doing is, because I want you to taper this with taper face tool, is bring all of your components up to full height. So if you look at your front view here on the bottom, the full height of this object is 28. Okay. So we're going to bring all of these pieces, the two side, let's say, walls of your object up to full height, and then we'll do a taper face. Okay, so let's just start on it so that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, we have a rectangle, and that rectangle is what did I say, 50 by 28. Okay, now, okay, so that seems pretty simple. Now, if I look at my, where did it go? If I look at this view, okay, if I look at this view, I can see that I have a base plate here that's 7 inches. So I can do one of two things at this stage. I can make my rectangle and make my circle and then do a press pull to bring it all up to full height. Or I can draw my full footprint with all of my extra components and then bring everything up on its own. So it really just depends on how you do it, but you can't change the height of this because you make the plate and then you make these sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this circle, right? And then I'm going to draw in these other components and do a press pull to bring them all up to height. Okay. So if I come back here, I'm going to go ahead and place my circle. Now, if you look at your diagram, it's 7 over and 14 over, okay? And straight down, and then 14 up. So it's fairly easy to decide where that's going to be. So 14 and 7 is what? 21. So the easiest way for you guys to do that would be, to grab that corner, make sure your ortho is on, and go over 21, okay? And then you can just go straight down. Then from wherever you want, okay, go up 14, okay? And then where your intersection point is where your circle is going to be, okay? So go ahead and put your circle in. Nope, didn't grab it. Okay, and on your diagram, it can be a little bit hard to understand the size of this circle, but once you start looking at your different measurements they give you, okay, this is 7. It aligns with the bottom of this circle, and the middle of the circle is 14. So what would that tell you this length would be, the radius would be? Okay, so we're going to make it 7. Okay, so now these reference lines can just go away, so we don't need them anymore. Okay, now I'm going to explode my rectangle that I made because I want to use these lines. Okay, so now these are all separate. So I know that I have to go over 7. Whoops. I have to go over 7. Did I kill it? Okay, so offset 7, and I want this to go over 7. okay? And this to go, oh, what's that all about? This to go over 7, and I'm actually gonna bring this over again, okay? And I'll tell you why in a second. And then I'm gonna do this over 7, okay? So now I'm going to actually make a polyline, and I'm going to follow this outline that I created, these reference lines, all the way back to my beginning. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to right click to start that polyline again, and I'm going to make a polyline that goes all the way back to here. Okay, then all these reference lines can just get deleted because they're unnecessary once I have that, even this here. Okay, now in this image, when you look at it, there's a line here, right? But let's look. Remember, I have an angle. This line is indicating this change in plane. Okay, it falls off right here, and you can see that here. But what we want to do is bring everything up to full height. So we're going to now turn this, okay, and I'm going to press pull everything. So I'm going to change. Now, some of you didn't have this menu, okay? If you don't have that menu, you can hit that little button right there and go, well, mine's already, yeah, hit workplace. If you hit workplace and have it checked, then you'll get this little menu here. If you don't have that menu, you can use this little menu down here, which is basically the same. Okay, I'm just going to do 3D Basics because it has everything I need, and I'm going to use press pull. Okay, so I'm going to look at my figure here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to look at this one from the front and say my base plate needs to be 7, and then my sides need to go up to 28. So then I'll come back here, press pull. Hopefully it grabs that. I'll go to 7. And then I'm going to use press pull. Hopefully that, bring that up to 28. And then hopefully this will come up and be at 28. Okay. So now I have my whole entity. Okay. So I want to do this taper face, but before I do anything, I'm going to confirm that it's exactly what I want it to be and conceptual. And then I'm going to union it. And I'm going to select my 3 pieces. Okay, so now it's one piece and I don't have to worry about messing it up for that reason. Okay, so now let me do taper face, which I need to go to 3D modeling for. So you'll go to solid and you can go here to taper face. So as long as you're on the solid tab, it'll show up. Now, what you want to do, okay, I tried to make it easy. You're going to pick the faces that are affected by the taper. Then you're going to pick, see, number 2 is stating the hinge point of the taper, and number 3 is the height of the taper. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to hit taper face, and I'm going to select this face. Oh no, and that happens. So don't just change it if it drags on. Just, we want the front face and the top face. Those are the faces affected. So hopefully we can grab that, and we can grab, oops, not that, darn it. And this, let me see if I can get that off. Not you. Okay, that should be good. We'll see what happens. So now I have all of this selected. This is what's going to be affected. Let's see if it works, because I did the union and I may have screwed it up, but okay, those are my faces. Enter. Okay, my base point is the hinge point, and I made it easy. It should be the midpoint. Okay, now I don't want to affect anything else. So I'm just going to bring this straight up, and then it's going to ask me my angle. Now my angle can be anything I want. This one just happens to be 45. Okay, now it's going to do this. Okay, so I made it a union. So my whole piece is stretched out. Okay, however, if you look at this, you see it's clipped off right here. Okay, it's not going to go past 28, but doing this taper makes it go past that. So use this at the bottom, see these here, as your guidelines. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to create a box. Okay, and it might get a little jumpy, but you're going to create a box that's going to cleave all this off. And now it doesn't even need to be any specific height. It just needs to be utilized in your subtraction. Now, if you're worried about it not being precise, you can just move this down a little bit. Okay, so then you know for a fact you're not leaving any of your object remaining. Okay, so hit subtract. What are you subtracting from? Enter. What are you subtracting? Okay, and then you should have your entity. Okay, now don't forget, I want you to go ahead and put materials on it and give me a good rendering for it. I don't have it set up for you to give a separate rendering. We'll only do that with projects, but I do as a grade, but I do want to see the rendering submitted, okay, along with the assignment, not separately, okay? So let me know if you have any questions.